Echo Point Nova is an insane game that feels like it's pulling mechanics from every other game imaginable. It has skiing from Tribes, the wall running and grappling hook from Titanfall 2, the gunplay of Severed Steel. Hell, it even feels like it has moments from Getting Over It. Hey, Jarek here, and this is the next game from the Severed Steel devs. It almost feels like the feature creep game of things they wanted to do while working on Severed Steel but couldn't fit into that game. And it's better for it. Formalities out of the way, this is a very good PC release. Probably because this game isn't trying to push the boundaries graphically. But it doesn't need to be trying to do that to at least meet standards, and it does. It has an FOV slider, it has DLSS, hell, you can even launch it with ray tracing. More importantly, it's incredibly stable, I didn't have any frame rate drops, and it crashed once throughout my entire 5-hour playthrough. Although I have a suspicion OBS was involved with that crash rather than the game's fault itself. But none of that really matters when it comes to the art style and pure insanity of whatever the hell is going on in this game. You are riding a hoverboard from island to island with a grappling hook and eventually go into space. In fact, you're probably wondering why the world is sideways, why the islands are upside down, why I'm walking on water. That's what it feels like to play Echo Point Nova. And no, that's not an exaggeration. This game is crazy. Still not as crazy as today's sponsor deal though. Into the AM is currently having a Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale, where things are up to 60% off. And you can get an additional 10% off if you go to intotheam.com/dragonshirts. Now, you've probably seen this shirt before, because this is one I've had for about a year and a half. I wear these all the time. This thing has been worn in quite a bit by now, but I still really like it. These are shirts that actually get more comfortable over time, which is impressive because they're already really comfortable and soft. Real life's a lot more boring. I'm not actually a dragon, and yes, you have to actually wear clothes in real life. Fortunately, Into the AM makes that a lot more convenient. Everybody needs clothes, everybody needs to wear them, and Christmas is coming up. If you don't know what to get someone, this might not be a bad thing to buy them. Because while this may have been one of their older shirts that I've worn to death, these are brand new. They look very good, very clean, and if I got this in a Christmas present, I'd be pretty happy about it. I guess I'm just getting old. But judging off my analytics, my viewers are also getting old. You're also probably starting to bald. It's probably best to just shave it and grow a beard like I did. Trust me, you'll look a lot better. Or get one of Into the AM's hats because they do make more than just shirts. Pants, boxers, hoodies, hats, whatever you want. Oh, also the sale is ending on December 8th, so you only have 2 days before the sale is up. Again, up to 60% off, and if you want an extra 10%, which does stack, go to intotheam.com/dragonshirts. Huge thanks to Into the AM. They are basically the official sponsor of this channel by now. And let's go back to the wacky game I was covering. All right, first things first, the story. What's going on? I have zero clue, no idea. And I feel like the devs don't really care if you do or don't. I don't mean that in a negative way, by the way. This game is very much no nonsense while being all nonsense gameplay wise. I don't know who I am, I don't have a name, I don't know who I'm working for, I don't know who the villains are, I don't know why I'm in this world with floating islands and jetpacks. Well, I guess they have jetpacks, I don't. Why didn't I have a jetpack? Oh right, because I have a fucking hoverboard. There's not even any voice acting. The story is told to you entirely through text pop-ups that happen at checkpoints. Yeah, you can see what the devs were focusing on here. They wanted gameplay. The game is fun to play, that's the most important part. So, let's focus on the gameplay. What can you do? Oh god, what can't you do? The first thing you get is a double jump that's already better than the vast majority of games. But more importantly, right after, you get a hoverboard. Now, this hoverboard wouldn't really be much of note if it played out like a regular snowboard or something. But no, if you hold shift, you are using your hoverboard. You can double jump out of the hoverboard all you want, and you can grind on walls, including climbing straight up vertical cliffs. You'll also get a pickaxe, which allows you to play this game like it's Red Faction or Minecraft or something and mine through almost any wall. This pickaxe also doubles as your melee weapon, and it is hilarious to go full speed and clock someone.
Come here, you little bitch.
Yeet.
See you later, bud.
Eventually you'll get a grappling hook to help you aid in gaining momentum, but also you can do sick flips. Yeah, if you just look up or down enough, your character starts doing front flips or back flips. Now, I'll be honest, I turned that part off rather quickly because it's a little disorienting when you're trying to aim straight upward and now you're aiming at your own back. I do think it would have been a better option to do it like Severed Steel did it, where if you held a button down, then you could do flips. But being able to turn it off is fine, you don't have to use it. More importantly is what happens when you start getting upgrades. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, this game kind of has an open world system to it. Now, before you freak out, this isn't like AAA open world, stick with me here. You have all of these islands to hop to, and a rather big map. On these islands, you will find something that you have to protect and kill a certain amount of enemies until you can unlock it. These can be one of three things. The first one is that it could just be a new gun, which is always fun. The second one is that it could be a hat. Yeah, you get cosmetics just by exploring in this game, and this is so refreshing. After so many years of everything needing to be microtransaction to hell, now you can just buy a game for $25 and everything's there right away. Nothing more you need to buy. But the third thing you can unlock is a new perk. Now these perks are where things get absolutely crazy. You see, you'll also get passive perks by finding these green orbs out and about. This part kind of reminds me of Crackdown. I got so many comparisons to other games in this one game alone. But these green orbs will eventually unlock basic upgrades, like for example, getting another double jump or having multiple grappling hooks until you have to land. But when it comes to the defend perks, these radically change the game. For example, you may get a perk where you just get ammo back by wall running. It says you get 1 round per second, but yeah, that is not 1 round per second. Or maybe you get a perk where you do substantially more damage when you bounce off wind bounce pads you unlock later in the game. And then after that, you get a perk that allows you to get all of your jumps back when you kill an enemy. Also, you have an RPG. Also, I figured out it doesn't count as you landing if you're wall running. Yeah, you can put 2 and 2 together. This can be absurdly broken. Oh, but there's more than just that. The weapons also have upgrades. Thankfully, there's nothing tricky or weird about them. It's just use this gun and get a certain amount of kills with it, and you get the next upgrade. Every gun has something a little bit different. Most of them have something as simple as just getting an optic or a suppressor. You don't have to have these on if you don't want them. I usually took the suppressors off because it just doesn't really matter in a game like this, and bullets travel slower with suppressors on. But other upgrades may be double the mag size for an already 50 round mag P90, or well, a P90 thing, whatever this is. I think you get my point. The combination of all of these things leads to some truly insane gameplay. Okay, but what's the main goal in this game? Like, gameplay-wise? We know story doesn't seem to mean a whole lot, so what are you trying to do? Well, you need to collect 12 artifacts throughout this map, and then bring them back to a main structure. The good news is that this world is actually pretty awesome. This doesn't feel like a AAA open world where it's just empty and everything feels the same. Let's take an example from a game I actually don't mind, and I do feel like it gets a bit too much flack, but there are some fair criticisms with it. Halo Infinite. Now, the multiplayer in this game left me really disappointed, but I do think the campaign is fine. Like, I didn't hate it, I still enjoy it. That said, the main criticism people had when it came to the open world is that everything is basically the same, and it felt a bit repetitive. That is not at all true with Echo Point Nova. You will go from grassy meadows to icy mountains to lava domes for some reason to even space. There is a lot of variety in this scenery, and that's very refreshing. Hell, there's even a massive desert at the bottom if you jump. But even exploring all of this would get stale if that was all you were doing and defending checkpoints for hopefully good loot. And there is more. Awesome bosses. Bosses are really hard to do well in first-person shooters. First-person shooters as a genre really seem to struggle with making something unique and interesting, but not frustrating and annoying. A lot of times I'll see games just give up on having bosses at all and instead try to overwhelm you with enemies instead. This game doesn't do that. These bosses are massive, and you have to find a way to get onto them. It almost feels like if Zelda was a first-person shooter. But once you find a way to get up there, they have a bunch of weak spots, but there's also a ton of enemies and turrets all over these bosses. Taking these things down is immensely rewarding. It will also give you an extra special ability once you defeat them. Whether it's that wind bounce ability you can chuck on the ground, something that allows you to freeze lava, or even lava itself, allowing you to break through any wall in the game. But then there's the final boss, the most rewarding of them all, the one that I said reminds me of getting over it, you need to literally jump into space and take down a space station. You cannot tell me this isn't awesome. I'm having way more fun with this game than I should, because look how absurd it is. I guarantee you I've forgotten some things, but I really don't know what more I could say. The game is $25, and I think it's worth it. It took me about 4.5 hours to complete the main campaign, but there is a lot more in the world that I never found. I didn't even find like half of the guns, which the guns themselves also feel fantastic. I briefly mentioned their upgrades, but just the base feeling of them is worth it alone. Oh, and as you probably saw, it has co-op. So if you want a good time waster with your friends that you'll enjoy, I would 100% recommend. I didn't come close to 100%ing this game. There's a lot more to do. I just beat the main campaign. So yeah, give it a shot. Huge thanks to Into the AM for sponsoring this video. Their Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale only has 2 days left, up to 60% off and an extra 10% off if you go to intotheam.com/dragonshirts. Also a huge thanks to my YouTube members. You can see them right here. They get to see my videos early. I'm stockpiling videos right now, so they get to see some of my videos a month early at minimum, and that's not an exaggeration. I keep YouTube members pretty cheap, so if you want to help out, it does mean a lot to me, and it really does help. This is how I pay my bills and rent. And also, maybe just check some of my other videos out. Here's a playlist of content just like this. Here's one that YouTube is recommending to you, and if you want to subscribe, click that thing right there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.